Hey, welcome to On the Mic with the M.
Auntie.
And today, you know what? We're going to talk about gun violence and youth.
Okay. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, it's out of control. I don't know. I don't know how we to this point where we got 14, 15-year-olds shooting each other.
I think the situation that happened, what area was that? Capitol Heights? Wasn't that a 12-year-old? It starts real young. Yeah, real young. That young boy was 12. And I want to say he shot I think he was 15. He was my son's age. Yeah,
wow.
he was an athlete. 12-year-old shot a 15-year-old. And that was outside the Dave and Buster's. That was years ago. No, that was last year. That wasn't years ago. That was last year.
That's crazy.
And he just got his sentence, I think, maybe about a month ago.
How long is he going to be in jail?
I don't think there was jail time. I think there was no, for real. Do we know factually what happened with that case? I think he has like this really long, if I can recall, what somebody just picked up the phone and told me was that he had this very long monitoring sentence.
Okay, he killed this kid, right?
Yes, that kid died.
So you mean to tell me you kill a kid and all you get is monitoring?
Maybe we should fact check that. But I'm almost certain that didn't have jail. He was 12. Who gave that kid the gun? Who's responsible in real life for the 12-year-old pulling the trigger in a crowd of, I want to say is at least 100 kids? They all came out of one restaurant, random into a parking lot. Like, whose fault was who was irresponsible and negligible in that situation?
We're gonna start. We're gonna start with the parents.
The parents, because I dropped my son off that night to the Dave and Buster's.
Well, not that particular parent.
Okay.
You knew the 12-year-old had some issues before. It didn't happen. It didn't start at the Dave and Buster.
Okay.
Somehow before that, the Dave and Buster's is the result.
Mm-hmm.
There was something that happened way before Dave and Buster's.
The lifestyle that you would breed in.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What is this kid seeing? What did this kid see from 0 to 12 that made him comfortable in pulling a gun and shooting another kid?
Yeah, because that is a comfortable, like there's a certain bit of comfort that comes with handling a gun, right?
Yes.
Like you can't just kind of handle a gun for the first time and be out in a crowd sort of thing and still real life handle. It's a weight to a gun, right?
Yes.
It's a lot that comes with, there's an energy that comes. But I mean, even before you get to pulling the trigger, right? Just to hold a gun is very weighty, right?
Exactly.
I always say it has a certain energy. Like it's so cold.
Yes.
Right, like this, like the metal. It's just like it feels. It's very empty. Like it has a certain energy. So to be comfortable with even just dealing with the gun at such a young age, what's happening to us?
Something's gone horribly wrong. I mean, we've gone from singing about guns to all of a sudden.
When you say singing about, are you referencing rapping in our music that we are listening to?
Definitely, because think about it. In the 70s, you had Earth, Wind, and Fire. You had that music is timeless. You can still play that 70s music now. You can play that around your older generation.
So nobody was getting into a fight in the 70s in the music.
No, nobody was. No,
there were no beefs being recorded in the music recording studio in the 70s.
No. After Love was gone, ain't nobody fighting over that. You ain't fighting with the riff. You may be fighting about the tempo, but you're not out here, beefing about After Love was gone from Earth, Wind, and Fire, because that was that kind of music. Then you had the early 80s and rap began with the hip hop, the Rapper's Delight. Okay. That wasn't about guns. That was about having fun, just like having a good time. Even the early rap was talking about positivity,
absolutely,
unity, Queen Latifah, and that particular
type of rap.
You had Public Enemy, who had consciousness music, learn to love yourself, do by yourself.
Where you spoke about the plights in life, but not necessarily kind of magnified those plights, right? You kind of magnified how you overcame the situations.
Exactly, like a message.
Right.
It told you about the life. It
left a message.
A message. You don't want to live this life.
Right.
And it was uplifting. It was like, oh shoot, pride, unity. And then I'm going to say 86, 87 was when NWA came out.
Okay.
And then again, we'll talk about a situation. They lived in, L.A., Compton, and all those areas where they dealt with gang violence because that's their life. They weren't saying it just to glorify it. They were saying, hey, this is my life. I got to deal with the dirty cops. I got to deal with the, drugs. I got to deal with all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Which also goes back to when crack and those kind of drugs
and infiltration into the communities at the same time frame. Okay.
So then now you had the movie Scarface with Al Pacino, which was everybody.
So now you're dragging us from the music side to the actual movie cinema.
Side.
So now you get this visual.
That fusion, because now you're starting to see it was cool for my man to be the big drug dealer, running things. He had the money, the guns, the drugs, the women. And then you had NWA, who's also talking about the drugs and things. But
maybe not exactly the same way, but some reason in a lot of households are saying that correlation was created.
Exactly.
And then there's a sense of glorification for the lifestyle.
And now
that's fair.
You start to have other people say, hey, they were underground here. Because think about it, NWA wasn't played on the radio. I mean, when I heard NWA in college, it was just like, it was that, man, you need to listen, this group is hot. The beats were hot. Just what they were saying was hot. And, it was like, oh, shoot. But I understood they was talking about a situation in which they came from.
Right. They
weren't glorifying it per se, but they were saying, hey, if you're out here playing that game, these are some of the things you need to worry about, some of the things that may happen to you, So then you start to get the blood, Crip, black on black, kind of dynamic.
Okay.
And then somebody looked and said, hey, this is profitable. And then you start bringing all kinds of dudes who didn't have nothing to do with rap, but they start glorifying the drug business, having that guns, having that lifestyle, the New Jack City, all of that.
Yeah, you see this whole boom of selling this certain type of lifestyle, and whether you're just telling the story of what's happening, you're glorifying the story, or you're just gold mining the story, it's now becoming something that's visually available to the masses, right?
Yes.
This story or these things, right?
Yes.
That aren't necessarily something that you would glorify, but because it's on TV and you visually see it, or it's on radio and you can now constantly hear it, it does become something that is now glorified. If you would define, things that which you glorify, right?
Yes.
You see it all the time. You listen to it all the time. It's almost as if you give it praise.
Exactly. And now you start to see all this going on, and now you got people struggling. You see drug dealers running around with Benz, Beamers, and Jeeps, and that the gold jewelry, the money, buying the expensive jewelry, expensive liquor, and all that stuff. So now you want that lifestyle.
Yeah. So now it's the lifestyle that's being portrayed, right?
Yes.
It's a really weird concept. We'll go to that later, but it's just bizarre. It's just really bizarre that we have all these things, but technically we have nothing. It almost ties into the one podcast when we spoke about where you're doing too much, but technically you are doing nothing, right?
Yes.
We had all these drug dealers of these eras who made all of this money, but not near, I'm not going to say not near, but not enough legitimate businesses. Not enough legitimate anything that was fueled from anything out of the era.
No,
yeah.
and you. So now you got kids out here who are in a certain mindset. If you look around them, and depending on where you grew up, if you grew up around nothing but hopelessness, drug abuse, or violence, and you had bad school systems, your parents didn't push you to learn anything in school. Schools, you got bored because maybe the school's so bad you were like, I don't even want to be here.
Okay.
So now, you get out of school, you're like, you know what? Why am I sitting in school or working at McDonald's for $7 an hour when I can go out there with my boy Poop and make $1,000 a day just standing on the corner selling some stuff?
Yeah, and the lifestyle is more fun than being at McDonald's.
Of course it is.
You're going to slide around on the greasy floor.
Yep.
people being rude to you.
Yes.
And then you walked away and, you could barely get home that day because you ain't made enough money last week. And, you had to deal with the boss who was rude to you and they're technically, a reject. And then they got the nerve to be
Exactly.
talking crazy to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, the lifestyles be totally different.
And then you see your boy, you in there frying fries. Your boy roll up on with a Jeep with nice rims on there. And he
Blasting his music.
Blasting the music.
Pretty girl on the side.
Pretty girl on the side.
Absolutely.
Dripping with all kinds of jewelry. And he looking at you like, dog, what you doing here? Man, I'm just trying to do this money right here. He said, man, I can. And he pulls out his pocket, $10,000. Said, man, I got more in my pocket than you'll make all year in this joint. Why don't you come work for me?
So it's a lifestyle.
Exactly.
And when you say, why don't you come work with me, there's a little bit more to the work, in order to engage in such a lifestyle.
Yes.
That comes with that. Now, that's one side of the coin, right? The other side of the coin is the child who comes from the, I'm going to say, middle-class family, who has no need to work, who only sees their counterparts, people who look like them, living a certain type of lifestyle, speaking a certain type of way, moving a certain type of way, and doing things that look good to them. And so now they, too, want to engage. So, in other words, the situations with the guns that we see today that before perhaps plagued a certain type of community, a certain type of home, or a certain type of parenting, right? If I was overworked, couldn't really be in the house too much, couldn't really keep eyes on the child, perhaps that child might fall victim to living a lifestyle where guns would play.
Exactly.
Today, doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
You can do everything right.
Yep.
You can be a high-earning parent.
Yes.
You can be married.
Yes.
It can be you and him. You can be divorced and remarried.
Exactly.
You can have given a stable household, and they could still possibly fall victim to this gun violence. Whether they be the victim or not the victim, they'll still be involved in the lifestyle.
Exactly. Because we have just basically kind of allow things to happen. And let me just say this. Things just don't happen just because. Everything happens for a reason.
Right.
And I started by talking about the rap and how it started.
Because when you reference that to me speaks to the programming.
Yes.
It's like paid programming on TV.
Yes.
Or the program. When we speak to TV, that technically, a friend of mine reminded me that was, at one point, we called those programs.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Technically, the program the way that you thought. Right? When we see TV shows or movies where you're being brainwashed, what's the first thing they do? Sit you in front of a TV that constantly plays whatever it is, right? That they want you to kind of put inside your mind. So when you referenced the music and then it got straight to the movies, I immediately took that as being, what type of programs are we putting into, our heads, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because again, you have to, you're not going to just accept everything, but you're going to look at certain things and you're going to start to put two and two together. For instance, if I came from a low-income area, and again, like I said, all I see is crime and drugs and everything, and I know I don't have the skill set to do anything more than be involved with this, and I'm like, I want to do the right thing. I want to go and get a job and do all that. But in my head, I'm like, that's a pipe dream because you don't have the education, the stability and all that. So now you're like, okay. That means I'm going to have to really work hard, and still don't know if I'm going to get to where I'm going to get to. But my boy Pooh Dog and them, they rolling. They ain't even finished school, but look at them. They're riding around. They got apartments, houses all over the place, and all they're doing is selling a little something. Why, why's that going to hurt? He's selling a little something. They're going to buy from somebody. Let me buy it from me. That way I can make a little something. I want a TV. I want a big screen TV. I want a car with 25-inch rims on it. I want the honeys. I want all that. I want the Ace, the top drinks. I want the top shelf drinks.
Again, the lifestyle. You want the lifestyle. Yeah, and like in other words, no matter how good your play is, you still have players that aren't playing quite like you. So you're always engaged in those things that you thought you were trying to get away from, so to speak, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then you look at your age, especially if you're 20-some years old, and you're like, wow, he living a good life. You're like, I want that life, because that's how we think. 20. I'm thinking at 20, you have opportunities. You make decisions, and you have to make a decision based on where you are and what you want. If you want something right now, you're going to go for that, because right now I'm going to get that money. I'm going to get that all I asked for. But the 20-some-year-old, you don't realize the repercussions of if you get caught.
Right. Or the affiliations that you're making along the way. The people who you affiliate with right now, they still going to know you as you get older and try to change your life and do something different. But what also speak to the people who feel like they could kind of lead a different life. Like, did you see the TV show Power?
I've seen a couple episodes.
Okay, so you didn't really see it. Okay, so technically you have not seen the TV show Power.
No.
But to me, Power spoke to the double life type of thing, where the dad had this lifestyle where he wanted to appear to be a businessman, but then he was like a goon in the streets, right? He was still that guy. And then as that TV show went off, we got a spinoff show with the son, where the son kind of took on this same lifestyle, so to speak, where he kind of wanted to be this what's the good word? Like that guy in the streets, so to speak. But he also wanted to be, just a regular old student.
Okay.
Right? And then he wanted to get custody of his daughter. Like, he wanted to be a regular Joe Schmo, but you also thought we could, like, erase the fact that you killed the guy or two type of thing. Okay. So we have that soft push of the gun violence to where you think that you can kind of get away with certain things. And that, outside of just the lifestyle that you're speaking of, right? That fast life, right? There's also another dynamic that people think that you can do certain stuff and get away with it. That whole TV show, How to Get Away with Murder.
Yes.
Like,
yes, you had a show.
And so you think, like, for our generations, we just eating it up for entertainment's sake. Like, oh, yes, look at what's her name, Viola Davis. She did that type of thing. But what is that? What type of programming is that doing to the youth who have come up in an era of the type of rap music? Because they didn't see the transformation and the evolution of rap music, right?
They haven't. No.
And so for them, the rap music only started with, I don't want to say nonsense and bullshit, but pretty much, shoot 'em up, let's get it popping, shake your booty twerking type of thing. Rap videos, by the time my son was born, wow.
I know.
I personally had stopped watching them by then because, like, wow, like my man better keep his eyes front and center type of, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was almost like a little private video for the man. Like, so the very idea to understand the climate and the programming, the influences that today's child has been brought up in, and you not talking to your kids because you're just allowing time to pass you by.
Yes.
You think that if you just send them off to school, you send them to their sports events, they do their little after-school activity, and just because you come home and you're tired and all the bills are paid and they got on clean shoes, that you did the job. You forgot to speak and build up that moral character.
Now, and
I don't want to say you forgot to speak, but so many have, because some of us realize we're doing it, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't want to take away from the people who are, creating solid citizens, right?
Exactly.
Did you see what the judge said to Tyrese after the decrease in the child support payment?
No.
He said, teach your children, I don't know if it's one kid or two, but he basically said, teach your children to be nice to the other parent because this is how we breed good human beings. We know how to breed good humans.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You have to teach them something, though.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you end up with this madness that you're seeing out in the streets.
Yes.
Because the kids are going. Here's the thing: either you teach your kids, or society's going to teach your kids.
Somebody's going to fill up your child's vessel. They are empty. Somebody's going to fill up their toolbox. That toolbox is empty. Somebody's going to put something into your kid.
Yep.
And the question is going to be, is it what you wanted put inside them?
And if you don't spend the time, then
or the energy,
then society's going to put it in.
Yeah, they are.
So it's just interesting seeing the change in rap, and not for the good. To see you go from that positivity, everybody's struggling, everybody's trying to help each other, to this all of a sudden it's all about booty shaking, liquor, gun play, that gangster lifestyle. And if you think about it, no gangster lives for long. It's all short term.
Well, a lot of today's rappers don't live for long.
No. We can go down a whole list of rappers who got songs out now.
You know what? I couldn't, because I don't even know their names. That's how short-lived their careers had been.
That is true.
I didn't even get to know some of their names.
Yeah.
But you just look up and it said, their name. They know their names in the news reports. It says their name, young rapper, age, 18 to 20. Yeah. Dead from whatever.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
He didn't even have a career yet.
No.
But they have these great Instagram or virtual claims to fame, and they say some of them are solid. Like the prints that they've made on this virtual world, it's intense.
Yes.
But like you said, they didn't last long.
No. They're dropping off like flies. I mean, there's one guy who I listened to probably 6 months ago. I heard one song from him, Pop Smoke. And I was telling myself, man, this dude is hot. Well, he was dead, I think, by the time that song came out. But the album, the video was smoking.
They did that.
He gone, 20 years old, gone. So after him, a whole bunch of other ones been knocked off. So you gone now from rappers in the beginning who had long careers, some of them had
and
long
it
careers.
becoming, when they got knocked off, it was a big deal.
Yes.
We spoke about it for more than a day.
Yes.
Now they get knocked off, and we only speak about it for about 24, 72 hours. Biggie Smalls died. Man, you couldn't even get in the neighborhood.
Biggie and Tupac, man.
Used to be. We was on the radio. It was a big deal. Nowadays, rappers go oh, okay, we didn't really know him for long. Exactly. He had a good following. A lot of people loved him, liked him, but it's like the school shootings. It used to be when the school got shot up. Yes. Everybody cared. We talk about it for a week on the news, maybe even 3 weeks we talk about it on the news.
Yes.
But now they're getting half of an hour, maybe, if that long. And that's because the situation already cleared up by now.
Exactly. And what you just said was, let me see, Tupac got killed in 1996. Biggie got killed in 97, 98, I'm not sure what year.
97 or 8. I'm going to say 90.
So think about it. So what we said in the 90s, when you start having, late 80s NWA, then you had people mimicking, and because they didn't live that life. Somebody in the record executive said, man, I see money in this. There's money with this. So they're going to start finding any cat that looked like he from the street and put him in the game and tell him, hey, just say these things. Now, again, me being an old head when it comes to rap, I've heard that before. I heard the NWA was talking about it. But now you talking about, I had murder here and the cops here and blah, blah, blah here. I mean, I've already heard that. But so now I'm thinking, there's no creativity. You just.
But the youth before us hasn't heard it before.
It's new to them.
And that's who they're feeding.
And now they're like, oh, what? And they see NWA. They don't understand it, but they see them and they see this new crew. And now all of a sudden gunplay comes in because now you got Tupac, you got Biggie, you got that whole East Coast, West Coast beef, which is crazy to me. Why are we beefing about coast? Why are we beefing, East
we don't
Coast,
even get
West
to make it to the other coast.
exactly. Exactly. You
Most of
talking
the
about,
people from the East Coast never even been on the
No.
West Coast, so we got a whole beef.
We got a
It was
whole
amazing,
beef.
though. It was
Yeah.
amazing growing up. We had a whole beef.
The
That was
whole beef.
hilarious.
And you're like, oh, you know, you're West Coast? And I'm sitting there thinking, how ridiculous is this? And then you got the people shouting on the streets. You Bedside, this, that, and other thing. You shouting at all these places, you don't own nothing there.
No.
But you shouting it out until some dude come in there and buy that whole thing and ship
then
it somewhere
everybody
else.
gone.
Everybody
Yeah.
gone. Now you
Yeah.
can't sing about Brooklyn or Brest-Style and because you don't even live there anymore. It's not a bought it and said, get on out of here. You don't own nothing. But then that's what you do. Everybody feel loyalty to a street, loyalty to a particular coast, loyalty to something
Because
that's
you want to have a sense of belonging.
belonging.
Yeah.
And that's where you start to see how things have changed because now everybody want to be part of something. You want to be no sucker. You want to be a dude that be respected. People look up to you. People fear you. People, whatever you want to call it. But now that changed the whole mindset because now your boy next street, still y'all being boys and we're going to hook up and do some things. Oh, he's with another set. He was another crew. I got problems with him. Now, you live right across the street from him. You had no issues all the time until now all of a sudden somebody bought this East Coast, West Coast drama with you. And
Or
now,
defining our lines.
Exactly.
Yeah, defining our lines.
West Baltimore, East Baltimore. It don't matter. You're in Baltimore. So it doesn't matter about what you're into or what you believe in. But now you got something you're standing for. I'm standing for, the East West crew. I'm standing for this Baba crew. That don't mean anything. Because in the end, you don't own it.
Yeah.
So what's really
What
the
you
benefit?
standing for.
What you standing for? So you see the 90s, the rap game started to change. It started to get more violent, more hedonistic, more, about the women, misogynistic. That started to change. And then you start to see the happy-go-lucky, I want to say happy-go-lucky rappers who want to give you, the unity, the self-love, love each other, support each other. They get less airplay.
More conscious rap.
Yeah, they get less airplay. Because by that time, Public Enemy ain't put out them hits
And
like
they
that.
almost were perceived different.
Yes.
Almost like the weird group of rappers now,
yes,
right?
Arrested Development, those kind of groups who gave you that knowledge and showed you pride, they're now jokes. Man,
it wasn't a serious group anymore, right?
No.
Because of you weren't doing the things that the now rappers were doing. You didn't have the women who didn't have the clothes on, right? So it looked weird because you were fully dressed,
yes,
and the women in your videos were not just like fully dressed, like all the way properly
dressed.
clothed.
Yes, you didn't
maybe
say
had
anything.
a little piece of African garb or something that made sense to kind of tie you back into a bit of ancestry or something that was historical. Like a need to feed more than just the mind, like it fed every part of you, like something for you to kind of go off on now.
Exactly. And then you start to see less clothes. You start then you had Poppy Diddy Puff with that Bama. He showed up.
Yeah, that was sadness. It was.
It was sad. It was like he showed up, and then you had Suge Knight and that crew show up. So now you got these beefs. It's not even about music anymore. It's about, do you support the West Coast or the East Coast? I love both. I love.
We all did.
We love all of it, but
because we didn't know any of them in real life.
no.
So it was just like,
didn't.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you had 5 hot rappers, you had about 5 albums, right?
Yes.
That was 5 hours worth of music, right?
Yep.
Depending on how long the album was. But that wasn't enough music to get you through how many days?
No.
You needed more music.
Yes.
So naturally, you enjoyed the East and the West Coast.
Exactly.
Right? But it was just the very idea that it was an attempt to divide, and it was technically one of the first attempts that we actually saw to divide people. That was like, was it all? It could incite violence in a lot of, and it did incite violence in a lot of situations.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, you had, if you really look at Biggie and Tupac, I'm gonna say their death was tied to this beef. It was tied to making someone mad on coast, or somebody want to pay back, or their death was from some bogus ass bullshit that was started. And I don't know how it started, but somebody said, "Well, you know what? We need that. We need that battle. We need that heat."
And it's all to make a dollar.
Always make.
And so when you look at the gun violence today, it's like somebody is making a dollar off of our youth dying.
Yes.
And it's not really it's not our age group that's dying.
No.
Because after a while you do have to be mindful that jail is not it.
No.
Like that cannot be the end all be all for our people when they mess up.
No, it can't be.
It does no reform, and it does not stop them.
No.
Because at this point, I want to say that some of them are okay with going to be locked up as if it's a rites of passage. And technically, that's the only rites of passage our boys have out here today. Somebody brought that to my attention.
Wow.
That at some point, there used to be rites of passages for young boys, right?
Yeah.
You'll see it in books. You'll see it in different cultural settings. You'll see it in different movies. What's that one? Maybe is it Spartan or 300, where the boy, once he becomes a certain age, he had to go out and maybe kill a wolf or something. That's how he became a man.
Yes.
And in different
cultures.
There was always something where the dad took the son out, or the men of the village took the son out, the sons, maybe it was one or maybe it was several of them, and they pretty much, after they would teach them, because today's society, we spoke about this, parents forget to teach the kids before they test them.
They sure do.
So they would teach the young boys certain skills, how to navigate certain lands, and then they would test them on these things. But what's happening today is the boys don't have anybody like, even if you had a gun, even if you wanted to become familiar with a gun, no one's teaching you anything about the gun.
No.
The weird part is that you'll see videos of guns being shot by young people and they're closing their eyes.
And
like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
What just happened? Like, real talk. Our young people have somehow gotten the money to put a gun into their hand, and they don't have any training on how to use this item.
No.
They're not even familiar the first time they shoot the gun what the kickback feels like. You can see it in some of these videos.
They don't have a clue.
They don't have a clue. So you invested money in this one piece of item and then didn't do no more investings in it.
No.
Or you just decided, I'm going to keep acquiring more firearms or more ammunition, and you never quite got ready for any damn war.
No.
Like, what are you doing? And like we were saying before, somebody's making money off of us.
Let me tell you, whenever you see something that seems to be simple, not being dealt with, it's because someone's making a lot of money. So, again, why do you think they want jails? Because you're going to employ a lot of people to take care of people in jail.
Right.
Which means, and once you go to jail, ladies and gentlemen, once you go to jail, it's a wrap. Because your future is now limited. You won't be able to vote. You won't be able to get a good job. You won't be able to do a lot of things because, you could be shoot somebody at 15, 16 years old. You get out of jail at 40. What are you going to do? You've been in jail for the past 20 plus years.
Yes.
And now they go, so where you been? Oh, well, when I was 16, I shot my boy Pooh and by accident. Okay, you're a murderer. That's what they see, you're a murderer.
Because the average person, once you go to walk into a workforce, they've not walked the judicial lifestyle. They don't really, like you said, they're going to categorize you real quick based off of their lifestyle.
Yes.
And it's not been one where they can categorize, a oops situation versus a situation you did on purpose. No, I'm uncomfortable by you because you've killed someone. You're a killer now. Goodbye.
Exactly.
You're a liability.
You're a liability.
Everybody who's come or you stole.
Oh, yeah.
With the gun.
Oh,
like a armed robbery type of situation.
Strong arm situation,
Yeah, like, so now you a goon. I don't need no goons in the office place. Liability. Nope.
Yes.
Whatever gets you to the jail.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there's this one big rapper who's been talking about it the last few years? Come on.
So
Meek.
many of them.
Who?
Meek was
yeah.
Meek
Who got into this situation?
But Meek was different. Meek, I don't think killed anybody. I think
not killing, but bringing to light how once you get into that system,
It's impossible to get.
it's almost
Yes.
impossible. Like, you have to live such a pristine
Yep.
lifestyle. Once you
Exactly.
have just even one run-in with the judicial system, that it puts you at such a disadvantage in life, and you're already disadvantaged.
Yes.
So why would you, number one, they'll bring guns into your community. Literally. Bring the guns into your community. And your young boys who have been watching this on TV, right?
Constantly.
Constantly.
Because now it's not the movies. Now it's the songs. It's
this-
the videos.
It's the video games, it's the TikToks, it's everything that's around you.
Yes.
Now you, in your mind, I want a pair of Jordans. Oh, I want nice clothes.
Yeah.
I want a gun. So somebody comes into a hood near you, pops a trunk, opens the back door, however you want to exchange your guns. They want to sell you a gun.
Yes.
You're going to buy it.
Yes, you are.
Whether it be the money that you were saving for your next pair of Yeezys or your next pair of phone posits, you got a couple $100 sucked away to do what you was going to do.
Yes.
They spending that money on these guns.
Yes, they are.
And the people whose children are in private schools who aren't being shot up, whose children are very insecure neighborhoods, who nobody coming kicking in your door, ain't nobody shooting in your playgrounds, ain't no gunshots, ain't no bodegas out there
Nope.
to get shot up.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
That is true. It's not.
These people are totally away from what we call our society. And they've taken the money out of our communities and leaving us with these cold, barren items. You know, I mean, it's just so cold. This empty piece of metal that can be so destructive. And they've taken our money out of here and they've planted it into their nice, beautiful homes and made their, glass windows even bigger because it's just that much more secure. I mean, keep it
Yes.
real, right?
Yes, that's
Look at the
true.
size of the windows in some of our communities. Barely even see them. They got
That
little
is-
things on the outside.
gates all
Yeah.
over the place. Little.
You can afford
everything.
a gate on the outside of your window, but you can't afford a gate on the outside of your community.
Oh, that is true.
Come on.
Damn. That's true. That's very true.
But we take the money out of our homes and send it over to the areas where the communities are gated for protection. It's a lot that you're not worried about.
No.
And somehow we still don't quite understand how to spend our money and where is it going.
See, but that goes back to sense of self. I think I saw someone, I think it was Dr. Umar said it. He said, why does certain people buy more Mercedes than other people? And he said, that's a sense of self.
Yeah,
You
it
don't-
wasn't just the Mercedes, right? It
Yeah.
was our sneaker.
Sneakers.
How we spend our money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you spend your money on things because you have such a low self-worth inside. I want people to see that I'm worthy.
Right.
And that is the saddest thing, which is a very true statement, but sad statement.
I mean, it speaks to human behavior, though. I mean, how long you gonna literally allow somebody to keep you down before you run out and spend the $1,200 on that Louis Vuitton bag versus paying the rent? At some point, human behavior is
Yeah.
gonna take control of you.
Yeah, because
Right.
you want to feel worthy.
You do, and that's the whole point of positioning the lifestyle
Yeah.
that we're in versus the lifestyle that we can't quite attain. That's the point of, all the big Instagram influencers, if you notice, they all have, the fancy high-end brands in their background, so to speak, right?
They sure do.
All of them letting you remind you that they got the fancy cars. They might not tell you straight up that they have a fancy car. They may not announce like how your friends and families would announce that they have a new car. You know how some people announce a new car like, I did that. Like, I worked hard for this and I want everybody to know that I made an accomplishment. They'll just
Exactly.
kind of let it linger in the background for like a status, right?
That's true. Yes. That's
And then
very
it's
true.
like that they know the human behavior that's going to eat at you. That is going to start entering into your back of your mind. Why am I not able to attain the same things that the person who looks like me, acts like me, in my mind, thinks like me, talks like me, walks like me, why are they able to attain certain things that I'm not able to obtain?
That is very true. And so now you start to look at how easy can I get this?
Yeah.
And who am I hurting?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, okay, I'll sell a little dope here, I sell a little this here, I sell a little that here.
Or I skipped the rent this month. At least this bag gonna last me for 10 years. I'm gonna make that up. They be all right. You start questioning the things that you know that you would do proper to make sure that your bed is comfortable when you lay in it.
Whew.
Right?
Wow, yeah. Yeah.
Because normally when you pay your bills on time, you make choices, you make proper choices, you live below your means, right? It keeps the bed that you are making comfortable. Now when you start living above your means, right?
Yes.
Making these weird choices that you know, I'm kind of get myself into a tiff, I'll figure it out later though, type of situation.
Yep.
When it's time to go to sleep at night, there's no pillow there anymore because you spent it. Right?
Oh, yes.
Or you've loaned it out someplace else, so now
That
the
is
bed
true.
is uncomfortable. And
That's
the
true.
more weird, I'm calling weird things that you start to do with your inside of your lifestyle, you start making that bed less and less comfortable.
Yes. That's true.
Yeah.
And your risks start going up. See, what they don't understand is if you work every day, there's a little risk. You're going to work every day, you get paid a certain amount of money, boom, you get paid. It is what it is.
Right.
The moment you decide that, hey, I would need to start selling drugs, selling guns, doing anything outside the norm, I'm going to make a lot of money.
And today we can do more than talk about selling guns, drugs, whatever from your generation, right? We are in scammers era. All right.
This is also very true.
This is yeah.
Yes.
So outside, there's so many illegal things to be held up on in today's world.
Yes.
That
That's so
guns,
true.
like the illegal sale of drugs.
Yeah, because that's...
I mean, that's like yesterday's news.
Yeah, because you're right. Because the real thing is if you can get someone's identity, if you can get someone's information, information is key now. Because that's how these cats are making their money now.
Or just flat out, if I can scam someone into sending me their money.
And that happens
I'll make the
all
woman
time.
fall in love. Or, I mean, do we ever make the men fall in love and they just, I guess that's normal. That's what normally, I'm sorry. The men fall in love and just send you their money. It's not a scam.
Yeah, no, that's not a scam.
Life,
No,
y'all.
that's
I
just
love that.
life. And like I said, if if your game is good, you ain't gonna worry about nothing. 'cause
That's not a
you're gonna-
scam if the man.
No.
So
no.
that's a bizarre concept to where if it's wild. It's almost like normal, right?
Yep.
If the man falls in love and he just decides to send me money, that's normal.
It is.
If the woman falls in love and then the man starts requesting money, you're scamming her. You didn't even like how is that possible?
But see, that's based on society. Society is saying that, woman, you should be able to take care of a woman.
Yeah.
A woman should be able to take care of you because that's looked down upon if a woman's taking care of you. And it's
More
like,
than that, you trying to take advantage of her.
yeah.
They defined it.
Well, we said that a while. We said it in the couple of podcasts ago. Like, if a chick look not so attractive, but she got money, you gonna do what you gotta do to get that money. So you gonna say,
Secure
I
the
gotta wipe her
bag.
feet, I gotta give her a back rub, I gotta do some things. I'm gonna do it because in my mind, I'm gonna get that money. So you're doing it for a purpose. So yeah, you'll do that. And women. Think about it, women do that too.
That's what I'm just saying. But for us, it's normal. It's just what you do. It's life. It's living. You take care of the man, and he takes care of you.
Exactly.
But yeah,
But
don't
it's different.
scam the woman. If you do it, yeah, because that's what's going on.
It's happening every day, and in fact, it's so many things going on that a lot of people are looking at other ways of making money rather than doing the 9 to 5 and all that stuff. And let me say this pandemic, not like it's changed everybody, but it made everybody sit back and had time to look and say, whoa, what am I doing? I'm out here busting my butt. I've been here for 10, 20 years, and damn, a little virus kicks in, and they got rid of me like it was nothing.
Well, more than that, I think the virus, like you said, gave people time to self-reflect, but more than self-reflect, people had to double-check their budgets. People had time to sit down and look at how much money was coming in versus how much money is going out. And once you really start to clicking those numbers and punching those in, you're like, what type of this is not even enough coming in.
There you
And
go.
there's way too much going out.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't make sense.
No.
It costs money for you to stay working,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
There's a significant amount of your income that you take home that you also give back just to get you back and forth to work.
Yeah.
Especially living in the areas that we live in, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Because most of us live far away from our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's only now that so many of us are like, I can work from home now.
Exactly.
And we're saying, because we work more than 30, 40 minutes away from home.
That is so true. And that takes its toll on you. I mean, you're looking at the energy, the time part of it, the money part of it, getting gas, the clothes, buying your clothes. All that has to come with the money that you're making.
Yes. And
It's
the
not
insurance.
Insurance. Because
Your insurance is going to be higher because you work further away from home because your liabilities are increasing. If you
There you
got to
go.
go from 95 to 295 down, all these 95s, you have a more increased chance of having a car accident now.
You do.
Your insurance is going to be higher
It sure
because
will.
you're commuting more miles throughout the year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then see you don't get a raise. You see you work for a place, he's like, it's been a bad year, you don't get a raise.
Mm-hmm.
So now, as we see now, with the inflation higher, as high as it's been in 40 plus years, so that means your money's even less.
Yes.
And now you're trying to do
Yes.
more with less.
Yes.
And you're already struggling before the inflation
Yes.
thing kicked in.
And I'm gonna tie this right back in to the gun violence.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems to be the issue with the raising of the minimum wage, right? Is that we're raising everything right
Yep.
along with minimum wage. So now the hike in minimum wage makes no sense. But speaking that right back to gun violence, is that you have the parent who is just overworked.
Yeah, overwhelmed.
You have an extra long commute, and it's not just like you can be mom and dad both in the household. You would both live the same lifestyle where the mother and the father has the job that's, maybe mom's job is 30 minutes out, but maybe then dad's job is an hour away.
Exactly.
Either way, they're both going to be overwhelmed at the end of that commute, right?
True.
8 to 10 hour shifts, right? Like most people are signing up to work a solid 8 hours for the day. But when you really think about it, if you're showing up 15 minutes early, a half an hour early, that half an hour early just gave you pretty much a 9-hour shift, a half an hour before you show up, and then 30 minutes to kind of gather yourself, get yourself to your car, and then get down the road type of thing.
Exactly.
Without feeling like you had to run to your car to get out on time.
Exactly.
We're both now overwhelmed parents.
Yes.
Now I have a 16, 17-year-old child who he needs some independence. I have to give him that independence, right?
You have to.
You must.
You have to.
Try to start not building, but to continue to build on the trust that you all have. Let them go out there. Let them make their own decisions. But now you can't check up on them as much. You can't pay attention as much. The attention that you are paying is not as detailed as perhaps it would have been if your body was not as depleted as it truly is.
Yep.
So perhaps there are situations that are occurring that start here, that get to wherever they can get to, that we just are not noticing because we have so many people overworked. Things
That's
to do
true.
with the children after school. I remember growing up, my mother used to entertain me and my girlfriends. We would definitely have time to kind of hang out amongst our own selves as teenagers, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But there was always like that Sunday afternoon, like maybe Saturdays we would go out by ourselves as, girlfriends type of thing. Maybe a few guys would come out, hang out with us, go to the movies type of thing. But Sunday, if we were going out to eat type of thing, that was sort of like mom's time to get to know y'all again, right?
Yes.
Come on, girls, let me take y'all out to eat. It's Sunday
Yes.
afternoon. She probably already started dinner for the evening.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's go out and just kind of let your hair down.
Yeah.
Times like that, you get to pay attention to how your children are responding to the conversations, their body language. Perhaps you run into somebody into the community that's going to tell you, oh, you got beef with somebody? Or, oh, you crushing on somebody?
Yep.
Because you would see these interactions, or the people, maybe you're out with a sister or a cousin, and they're going to start leaking the information.
Sure will.
So the overwhelmed side, the overworked side to today's parents in our community can also speak to the gun violence that we have today. Because I don't want to say we're out of tune with our children, but we ain't in tune with
No, because the thing is, you have to be, you can't put your head in the sand anymore. Mm-hmm. You can't sell.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, but you can't be worried about just your kid.
No.
See, my mother always had a car full of other girls who these not her children, but I got to check up on these girls also to know what you doing also.
There you go.
Right? So the very idea that I don't want to fill up the car with my son's counterparts, I'm going to always be in the dark with what my son doing.
Yeah, he's never going to tell you everything.
Yeah, but the other kids, they'll let you know.
Yes, they will.
Exactly where everybody's mindset is at. Because they can't hold on, like they're not going to be, they're not going to cover up everything for everybody. They just can't.
They can't. Because first of all, they're young. Their young minds don't have that concept of covering up
discretion and all that.
No.
No,
you sit there and you listen. And that's the other thing, parents need to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of talking, just be quiet and listen to the conversation is happening. If you listen, you start to hear some things that you may say, okay, I kind of knew that. And you start hearing some other things, ooh, I didn't know that. And you just put that in the back of your head.
You put that in the back of your head. Because you don't have to handle everything all the time. So we out at Chipotle with 3 or 4 of the guys and they just hanging out and we talking to somebody to say something crazy. I'm going to just chuck. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. We're going to wait on that. Right?
We're going to talk.
You have to listen.
We have to listen. And then when you listen, then you'll understand what's really going on. Not what your kid tell you, but you see based on his
you can
partners
decipher
what's going on.
Absolutely.
And we don't. A lot of parents don't do that. And you use I'm tired. Listen, I would rather spend the time to find out what's going on with my kid than to find out that my kid was shooting someone or shot someone. Because one thing, I can't believe my kid did that. First of all, how do you not know your kid didn't have a gun? How do you know a kid can come in there in your house with a gun and you not know about it? How do you have his friends gave him a gun and he brought it into your house and you didn't know about it? Then you have to ask yourself a question. I didn't raise no knucklehead. Why would you think in your head it was cool for your boy to give you a gun to take your house? Because his mama didn't want the mama to see that he had a gun. But he gave it to you? Like, your mama gonna be cool with you having a gun? And you was cool? Like, oh, well, my mama be all right. No. Then that means we got a problem. What's going on with you that first of all, you're a follower.
But see, you would notice these traits in your child very, like 13, 14, 15, like before it got to something real.
Exactly. It don't happen overnight.
It doesn't happen overnight to where you see that your kid was willing to take something that's not necessarily theirs, that the other parent wouldn't have approved of. And so they ask you to take it and your kids say, yeah. So you been would have started having these types of conversations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because, at 10 years old, you know not to bring nothing in this house unless I bought it for you or you made it at school. If someone has you anything, I don't care what it is. That's the conversation.
Isn't that the conversation?
Yes,
you don't take nothing from nobody.
Don't bring nothing.
I remember that.
I don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah, you don't need no gifts. The teacher ain't gave you nothing.
Nope, I don't want to hear none of that because all I know is if I find it and I ain't know nothing about it, we have a problem. We have a big problem. Because first of all, you lied to me. Because if I had to find it, I ain't know nothing about it.
Right.
That means I find it and you didn't tell me. Then I'm like, you lying to me? No, I didn't tell you. Well, not telling me it's still you didn't walk into my house because now I'm using my house and bought something that you know I'm not with.
Yeah.
You know I'm not with guns. You know I'm not with drugs. You know I'm not with whatever. So why would you think it was cool to bring it in here? And you hiding for somebody else?
And you're hiding, so you know it's not what we are condoning. So
no. And so what's going on with you? So why are you hiding anything? Why are you taking that kind of stuff? Why do you just say, hell, I ain't taking that. Take it to your own house. I couldn't take it. I was buried in the backyard. Do something. I ain't taking it.
Make it disappear on your own watch. It's not on his.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But these people now,
And
I just
then-
hold on to a gun. I hold on to a clip.
Yeah,
Why?
but affiliation. But then I came from a childhood where if my mother called heat, like, old girl got something going on, I'm gonna go talk to her too. Because if she don't know what to do with whatever it is that she gave to you, then what's she gonna do next? Because if she
Exactly.
couldn't keep that from her mother, then that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. Also, that we can't turn a blind eye on our children's peers
No.
when we realize that an issue is present.
Yes.
So if a situation comes to speak where, and let's do something lighthearted like drugs. You know what I'm saying? Your kid comes home with drugs and they say straight up, it's not mine. You know, it was my homeboys and they couldn't take it home.
And why would you think it was cool to bring?
Well, outside, why do you think it's cool to bring? Are we surrounded by I'm sorry, idiot criminals? Because that's the conversation that my dad would have had to have. Now he mad that y'all all
I'm
dumb.
sizzling.
Y'all all dumb and y'all trying to be drunk.
Yes. And
So
that's-
now we gotta have a real conversation about how you really do this. Like number
Yes.
one, you can't give it to a dummy like you because you don't have a clue. So that's not. So now
Don't.
let's go talk to the
No.
one who's supposed to have this.
Exactly.
And let's really get to the bottom of this because y'all both gonna get in trouble if we don't all figure this out. And I'm not saying
Yes.
we're gonna teach the kids how to get onto the corners or anything like that, but we do need to get to the bottom of this and why you possess this and think it's okay to give this to an idiot friend who
Yes.
might be my child.
Yes.
You know, like,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
just saying because he's going to get caught. He got caught by me.
He got
I can
caught by me.
guarantee you he's gonna get caught
my
in real
God.
life.
And let me
Yeah.
tell you, if a cop busts my door down, you can keep him. He is
Yeah.
down with you because
Yeah.
if he's busting my door down for you,
It's like we got into also outside of just like the gun violence. It's also like the dumbest criminals group, right?
Yes.
Where you can they'll get caught left and right off of any and everything. What's going on? Like we weren't even trying to get away with stuff.
But here's the thing. You got kids who live in low-income neighborhoods who see a lot of things. They see it. It's just the environment in which they live. Then you have kids who were brought up in middle-class neighborhoods who never see that type of
No, they went to
stuff.
their cousin's house who in low income and they thought they lived it, but they was only there for the weekend. I get it.
Yes.
I get it. No, you went to your cousin's house for one weekend in the summer and was like, "Nah, I saw that life. I'm about that." No, you're not.
No, you're not. Because you're
They're
going to
not.
take your
Go
goofy
home.
ass right back
Yeah.
home to the suburbs.
Next time your cousin coming to your house,
Exactly.
y'all don't know how to act.
You don't know how to act. I'm going to bring him to my house, and I'm going to treat him like I treat you in my house. I'm not going to be like, well, he live here. No, I want him, whatever he's seeing, is unfortunate, and his parents didn't do no better, couldn't do no better. I don't even know. But at this point, you living here. You're in Rancho Cucamonga, if I'm going to say. You're here, and you're going to live around me, and I'm going to teach you how to do this. Because you can do this. You can be here. Just because you live in that environment don't mean you live and die in that environment. Don't mean that's the way I'm going to run my life because,
I mean, I'm from that group also where I don't care what they doing in the neighborhood. What we doing in my house is what we doing in my house.
Exactly.
So whatever happened to that? Yeah,
Peer
so
pressure is
Dre's
definitely-
speaking to the peer pressure that, like, you growing up in a certain neighborhood. It doesn't really matter if it's middle class, low class, whatever. You grow up in a certain neighborhood. Your parents create a certain type of lifestyle for you within the walls of that household, right?
Yes.
And when you leave up out of that household, you are absolutely going to have to go against the pressures of the people who look just like you, your counterparts, your
Yep.
peers.
Yep.
But again, like we said, if you're parenting only on your child exclusively only, you're going to fail.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
going to fail. If you've never invited your kids' friends in your household for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to fail.
Yes.
And you're wrong. What type of human are you? You're
That-
wrong.
that's true.
You've never said, son, why don't you invite a friend or two over for dinner? Where and my mother used to have Thanksgiving in October type of thing.
Oh, really?
Fill the whole table up with all of our friends from the neighborhood. She would prepare a meal. You've met my mom.
Yeah,
She
good
has
pieces.
that personality.
She does.
But she worked in the school system for years. So she understood the dynamics of how children act inside the house, outside the house. She understood the pressures of, the peers in school, in the neighborhoods, all that. So she never turned a blind eye because she knew better. What we're saying today is that if you don't know better, we're telling you that you need to be working on your children's peers just as much as you're working on your child.
Very
because
true.
they're working on your kid too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. Or not necessarily working on as much, but getting to know as much and be willing to have a proper relationship with people who have relationships with your children. Right?
Yes, because they can influence them in a lot of cases a lot more than you.
Absolutely.
And also that goes back to you need to teach your kids how to not be followers, which goes back to self-awareness, self-esteem, things you have to train your kid when they're little. Not when they get to 14, 15, they're already set. But you have to train when they're little on how to think of themselves and how to not be persuaded by other people. If you don't want to do something, you ain't going to do it. Somebody can't tell you, well, do you want to go here? I don't want to go here. If I was you, I'll go with us. Okay, I'm going to go. No, if you don't want to go, you don't want to go.
Yeah.
And be happy with
and
that.
be okay with your decisions.
Exactly.
That's
Rather
it.
than saying, well, I'm going to go because they're going. Sometimes you say, I don't want to go. I want to go over here. And if you're a leader, then they're like, you know what, I'm going to go over here too.
Yeah.
But you have to instill that in your kid because if not, they'll become part of the pack.
Like being okay with being alone.
Be
Just
okay
as much.
with being alone.
Yeah, just as much as you're comfortable with being in a group.
Yes.
Sometimes you just have to be okay with also not being in the group.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I started doing hair at 18, probably got real serious in the industry at about 20. For a 20-year-old to readjust life to where you do not hang out on Friday nights, period.
Oh. Ooh.
So everybody goes out, hangs out on Friday nights. Everybody has parties on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
I had to choose to not.
Wow.
Because I got to be prepared for that work day on Saturday morning. I couldn't stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I no longer could go to the club on Friday nights.
At 20 years old.
At 20.
Oh, my God. That's when you
At
party.
20.
That's when you really
But
get
I
your
went on
fun.
Saturday, so I was good.
So when it comes to this gun violence thing, it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to be starts with the parents first.
Yeah, I think it definitely starts with us first. Starting with the parents absolutely communicating, not just about gun violence, but about morals, about choices, about just about life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Just work on creating good citizens. Like, I think we always just say that, work on creating very good citizens.
Yes.
And if you're not starting there, that's a really, really good place to start.
Yes, please do, because if you don't do this work, the violence you see and hear every single day all over the country, all over the world, is going to be a continuation. And unfortunately, if we don't do anything any different, it's going to get worse.
It's almost like, I hate to use COVID as that example, but you remember how when COVID first hit, it was so far away from your door?
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to affect us.
It's in China.
Yeah, it's not going to, like, gun violence isn't really going to hit us until it hits, your home type of thing. And do we really have to wait that long before we start, being serious about how we're raising our children and how we're putting the next group of citizens out into the world before we
Exactly.
make a change? Yeah.
T, that was beautiful. I'm gonna leave it at that because I can't say any more to that. But we're gonna revisit this again. We just this initial talk about it, but we want answers. We want solutions. We're not about the problem. We know about the problem. Let's find solutions. So we're gonna work on this some future podcasts. So with that, I'm gonna wrap this up. You are on the mic with the M.
Auntie.
You like this? Subscribe and hit that like button. Give us that love. All right, peoples. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
Bye.